Perfect. Okay. Hey guys, it's Tim with Option Legacy, the head trader and founder, helping you build a legacy through trading. And guys, I've got someone really great here with us. It's Glenn Eastman. He is also a legacy trader, and he's been seeing phenomenal results in his portfolio. So of course, whenever I was hearing the little trickles in, I was like, man, this is great. But then hearing Glenn's final numbers, or numbers so far for this current month, I was like, man, we've got to get him in here to share with you guys exactly, just kind of what his journey's been and stuff. And so, Glenn, how's it going?
It's going good. Yeah,
Cool.
It's been a great month.
It has. You posted inside the group, what was that, like 6 or 8 trades that were just like bam, 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 bam?
Yeah. Just I've had back-to-back winners. I mean, like I said in the post, knock on wood, I've only had one loss this month. I had another one that was a stupid mistake. Probably people have made those mistakes. I thought I was setting a stop limit, and I accidentally exited out of the trade. So I lost like $12, but I entered right back in and made the money back. So I don't count that as a loss. That was just.
Yeah. I remember that too when I first started trading, finding out how to put on those orders. And trust me, I've definitely either exited out when I've not meant to, or even just recently. I've been trading learning on my trading journey for going on 4 years now. And I just, this last week actually, I actually entered into twice as many contracts as I meant to, because I made a mistake on the entry. So it's like, I'm sure you'll have more of those. And so that's fun.
Awesome.
But Glenn, tell us a little bit about maybe how you decided to start learning about trading stock options. Like, what stood out to you that said, hey, I want to pull the trigger?
Sure. So obviously I've been watching your journey. You're a near and dear part of our life and have known you for many, many years. And so I've been watching your journey and just kind of got excited. We had chatted before, but didn't really have time. I mean, planted a church, working full time, pursuing a ridiculous dream, and just was really busy. Didn't think I had time, but I decided one weekend that I would just throw myself at some videos and see how much I could soak in. And I realized as easy as you break it all down, it actually was pretty easy to digest. I decided, I'm going to give this a shot. So I've been at it about 6 months now. I opened my first trade in April, and I've been learning along the way. The first month and a half, I had some really good trades. Everything was super small. I started with a $2,000 portfolio, so it's been small. I added another 1,000 about a month and a half ago, but learned along the way. I've had a few big losses, and those were I chalked up to learning expenses. And my portfolio size is smaller than yours, so I probably shouldn't have scaled at the same size you were, and then the loss hit me a lot harder than it would hit you.
Sure.
So I've learned things along the way like that to keep my sizes at my portfolio size, and so I'm learning. And so this past month has been just a month of looking to what my plan is and what my numbers should be aiming for, and they're smaller, but percentage wise, I love focusing on the percentages. You talk about not focusing on the amount, but focus on the percentages. And so when I look at, I'm making, for me, I'm aiming for anywhere from 15 to 25%. And, I know you're going for 50% in a lot of years, but my portfolio is so much smaller. I'm trying to be super conservative. So I'm aiming even smaller and getting out. And I'm figuring with how you taught and described and had us read Trading in the Zone, I love the casino picture, of just being in the house. And so trading small, trading often. And I've been doing that and just trying to get more trades in a smaller scale. And it's like, even if I only get the smaller wins, I'm still coming out at the end of the day. And I've been seeing that this past month has just been phenomenal.
Yeah. And so throw out some numbers on maybe if maybe a ballpark of what your average return on investment's been. And then I think you said you're up so far this month, and we've still got another week left in it. Yeah. But something like 24%.
24%. Yeah. So my average return this month has been 14% per trade.
Wow.
And I'm seeing anywhere from, like I said, I'm shooting for 15 to 25% per trade. But the way I've kind of locked down my trade plan is, because my portfolio is smaller, I'm aiming for, can I get out for 35 to 40 bucks profit?
Sure.
And so I figure with an 80% win rate, and I've been tracking, and I'm right at that. I think I'm at 80.7 win rate. If I make $35 per 8 trades,
Yeah.
that's $240. And then if I double that for my losses, a $70 loss for 2 trades, or it's 280, and then that would be $140. I'm still doubling what I make with that win ratio, even at a $35 only win.
Yeah.
And so I don't need to make the big bucks. If I can keep my win ratio around that 80%,
Yeah.
I'm still making it. And if the more trades that I do, I don't just do 10 trades. Last month I put on 41 trades.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a couple leftover. I made like $800 last month, but then I lost a lot because I was still carrying over some previous learnings, and I think one of the things I followed you into. But this month I haven't done that.
Yeah.
And so it's been all profit other than one loss. So keeping my trade plan really strict like that, and I know I've left a lot of money on the table. I jumped out of McDonald's early. What was that, yesterday? And you stayed in it for a while longer, and you made a little more money on it. And for me, it was like, you know what? I know what my trade plan is, and that thing went way past what I was looking for, so I got out.
But it was like a 98% return on investment or something?
92.5, yeah. I made $180 in,
yeah.
You know.
You cannot go against that. I know one thing I've learned, and I'm sure you have this experience too, that in trading you're always like, oh well, let me look back, what could have happened, what should have happened, what all this. But at the end of the day, you cannot lose by taking profits. And so
exactly,
that's incredible. So you've been on this journey for 6 months. You took one weekend, you said, whoa, I'm really going to dive into this. You felt like some of the concepts came a little bit natural or simple or easy to you. And then you just started going from there. What was the big contributors to your ability to learn how to trade and get, 24% return on investment in this month?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously I went through your courses. You had an original course. You've since modified that course down even more. And I went through that course. Yeah. And I think that course has really broken it down. I love the fact that you've broken it into little bite-sized videos that each hold their own thing, because then you can go back and look at those things that you need to brush up on. That's been super huge. The videos you've been doing along the way, dealing with stochastics, the RSI, the MACD, getting all of that stuff, lining it out, and seeing all those things, then weighing that in with the technicals, looking at all of that. It's been super helpful. So I've taken all that stuff in, and I've been watching, and a lot of it, I've been an early adopter of your trade alerts. And so
that's right.
And I've entered into a few of those trades. Again, some of the ones you're doing are bigger dollar amounts than I'm able to do with mine. And so if I can enter in at my level, I do. If I can't, I just watch it just to get learning from it and see how you're doing that. Because I immediately, when I've got time, I work from home, so I have the advantage of being able to pop my computer open when I see those trade alerts come on my phone. And I can look at all those stochastics and all that stuff and see why you made the decision you made. And that's been really helpful. So even if I don't enter the trade, I'm able to at least see at a glance, how you're arriving at your decision.
Yeah, that's really great. So let's talk a little bit about that. As far as how much time do you estimate you're spending on a trading day, actually, maybe looking for trades or placing trades? Like, what does that look like for someone that's maybe like, hey, I'm new, I want to learn trade options, I do work full time. What's that look like for you as far as your investment there?
Sure. For me, I'll be honest, at the beginning, I was spending evenings just soaking up videos, spending weekends soaking up videos. And, there's definitely an upfront time investment. I'm getting it down. The market for me, I'm in Denver, so the market's open at 7:30. I'm usually on around 7 o'clock just to get some quick, hey, what's the pre-market look like? And if there's anything popping that, hey, this is going to be a good pop once it goes open. So maybe 40 minutes in the morning. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, I'll see where stuff's looking, and I might pop in for another 15 minutes or 20 minutes before the market's closed and see how things are doing and enter a trade. That's one thing I've been learning is I try not to enter too many trades in the middle of the day because there's so much fluctuation. There's some good swing in the morning where you can pick up the pop. and then wait till all the balloon deflates and then maybe enter into something right at the end of the day. I'll sometimes do that, but a lot of times then I just watch after the market. So honestly, right now I'm probably spending an hour a day.
Yeah. And like two setups, like, so some in the morning, some after, or right before market closes or after. I do the same thing.
But I've only been at it for 6 months, so I know I'm still in that learning curve where I don't quite be able to do it in my sleep yet.
Sure. Yeah. That's fair. But something I say often is I believe, and obviously I'm a full-time trader and I help people learn how to trade, but I think trading is a life skill that everyone should learn how to do.
For sure.
Because you're talking about, getting into the markets about 30 minutes before open. I'll do sometime after the markets close. So either like after, for me, it's 1 p.m., after 1 p.m., all the way till before the markets open. So it could be in the evening or the morning, but I'll go into my computer and I'll look at, a few different charts, maybe 5 to 15 charts. And then I set these alerts. And oftentimes once I get that alert, I'll just send it through on my phone. And I'm like, okay, I already know what I'm going to enter in with this. But that's been, after a journey. But it's really cool to know that you can, even you're 6 months in, and even then, you're turning, for the time that you're investing, and we'll say an hour, maybe even an hour and a half a day, to be able to turn double-digit return on investment in a month. It's like, where else can you do that? And so that's really cool to hear and see as well.
And that's kind of been, for me, I've got a spreadsheet set up, and when I get into a trade, I can see what's my max risk on it, and then factoring in the commissions and all that stuff. And I see if I want to make double-digit return, which minimum 10% return, what do I need to get to dollar-wise on that trade before I can get out? And so for me, I'm able to keep things. Some of my trades, it's like, yeah, you've hit double-digit returns when you make $20.
Yeah.
And so for me, if I can hit my $35 window, I'm making 15, 18%. And the cool thing is, based on all the information that you've taught and looking at the different oscillators and all that other stuff, I can hit that in a matter of a couple of days tops. Yeah. And so honestly, when I look at my trade journal right now, my average time in a trade is 3 days tops. Most of them are 1 to 2 days, because hitting those with waiting for the places to pop and watching the stochastics start to pinch and things are going to break out. I catch that little bit of pop and get out and move on to the next one. And that's all I need, because I'm keeping my plan really small. And so I'm hitting stuff quickly. And the cool thing for me is, even if I'm only getting a 10 to 15%, if I can do that every 2 days, that compounds. So like I said, I'm averaging 14% in my return, but my portfolio is up 24%.
Yeah.
So.
And that's epic. That's epic. So let's talk a little bit about community. I know that you've been, in both the paid community as a legacy trader going through the course, and then part of the free community too. How has being in those groups impacted you, or what's been your takeaway? Has there been any impact there, growth?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. For one, picking up information that I would have not had. There's been some stuff that's saved my skin. Learning about things like even the fact that I got clocked into a day trade limit and didn't realize I had gotten into that. I was like, whoop, and getting just the learnings from other people, or what do I do when I need to manage this trade? I got trades going against me. I'm in a, maybe I'm in a bull put spread, and okay, so here's how you can manage that, make it an iron condor. So there's definitely that fact of not going it alone. And yeah, I don't always weigh in, but I'm reading a lot, and then when I do weigh in, it's like, I haven't done too much about here's all the trades I'm jumping into, because I've been doing such tiny ones on such quick basis. I'm like, trying to follow me around would be, but I definitely been trying to post my results, wins and losses. So.
Yeah. And that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Everybody's input has just been super helpful.
Yeah. And that's why that's some of the reasons why I started Option Legacy was, man, I've got to, because when I first started trading, I was by myself, in a little dark corner with a computer, and I love people. And I'm like, man, this is not fun. And then I started looking for community, couldn't find any community. So I'm like, let's go out and build it. And then transparency, just keeping the transparent piece too. Because even in that post that you put in our group, you know, it was like 6 or 8 winning trades. And then you talked about, you know, a trade that maybe you broke even on. And then was there a small loss in there?
Yeah, there was a small loss in it, but I was able to manage it down. I think I ended up with like a 9.8% loss. So it wasn't bad.
Yeah. And what was it at its like darkest day, that 9.8%, the loser? Like, was it a 30%, 40%?
No, it got up to 50% loss.
Okay.
So I was like, do I? And I had enough time on it, and I was waiting, and basically it got down to a limit that I was like, okay, I'm going to get out while the getting's good, because I knew just all the indicators were all starting to turn, and I'm like, there's no way this thing's coming back, so just get out. And I
Yeah.
got it while it just had kind of peaked at a decent loss.
Yeah, cool. Well, in wrapping things up, if you had to say something to someone that's looking at getting started with Legacy Trading course and in the community, what would you say to them? They're wanting to get started with options or trading, but they have no experience. They don't know where to start. They hear your story. What would you say?
I'd say give it a try. It's not as hard as you think. And honestly, you know, it doesn't take a ton. Like I said, I started with $2,000. If you've got a savings account just sitting there making next to nothing in the bank, you know, put that money in and start using it. The course that you've put together is an awesome jump start. So, I mean, you can get into this pretty easy and start doing it, and just be super conservative to start. I'm sure I'm going to get, you know, more aggressive as I go on, but I've been keeping it mostly conservative.
Sure. And you, again, you can't win with, or you can't lose with taking profits. That's
Yeah.
cool, Glenn. Thanks for your time, for sharing with us and with the community. And again, congratulations on the results that you've had, and may there be many more months and years like this as well.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Ciao.
All right.